Hello and welcome to the 12th episode of Jim's Raw Cooking. Today we will be making corn chowder. Look, you can see my recipe and everything. I've written this recipe up, so there you go. Yes, I've made this before, once, and it went really well, so I'm going to make it again. This is before I started filming stuff, so let's get on with it. So, the first thing we've got to do is prepare all our ingredients. So what I'm going to start off with is our spring onion. Makes a change from normal onions. So I like to kind of chop down until I find where it actually starts to become solid in the middle, if that's alright. Probably go a little bit further up, but it gets a little bit tough if you go a bit further up. So we want a kind of nice spring onion, basically to the bottom of the stem. So we want. Yes, and then we only need to cut off the roots as well. That should be okay. And then we've done celery before. It's 3 spring onions and 2 celery stalks. There you go. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to separate that out and then dice it up. Put it here. So we're going to cut lengthways along our celery. Just get it a little bit smaller. And we're going to move along it and cut it up nicely. There you go. This bit. This was suggested for me by a friend a while ago. It was really nice last time, so I'm going to make it again. This recipe should probably serve about 3 people. It is very nice and filling, so it's very nice. One reason we're not using the soup maker today is because the soup maker does not do milk. It just hates it. It will kind of explode into a milky death if we use milk in the soup machine, so we're not doing that. We are going to make it manually, which is good because it always tastes nice. It's worth the effort. Alright, and then what we're going to do with our spring onions is we're going to do a combination of just chopping it into the kind of the cylinders, as well as I'm going to chop one of them lengthways as well, just so we kind of have a variety in there. It looks nicer. So we chop 2 of the ones into cylinders. And then what I like to do is I like to have the other one kind of chop that in half as well. Making sure to keep your fingers out of the way, like I almost wasn't. And we can chop these kind of batons into kind of smaller pieces. It just kind of adds a nice kind of variety into the soup. Chowder, sorry. Chowders are soups. Almost. They're pretty much the same. They're just heartier, which is nice. Okay, so that's going to go in with the celery, because we're putting that both in the pan at the same time. There you go. Okay, what have we got next? We've got to peel our potato. So we're going to get that over here, and we're going to peel it. So it's 1 medium-sized potato for this recipe. And that's almost done. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to dice this potato into smaller pieces so it cooks nicely. So just in half, nice and soft. Half again. Half again. And then what I like to do is kind of chop it like like that, and then a half again. Just into kind of similar sized pieces, just so it cooks evenly. We want fairly small pieces so the other vegetables don't overcook when we're doing it. And one little bit more. There you go. Okay. Should that be alright, or should I do a little bit smaller? Ooh, to slice or not to slice? Yeah, we'll go a little bit smaller than some of these. So we want a fairly smooth soup. Yeah. Something I've also forgotten to get out is a standard onion, which I forgot about. I'm going to put this in a separate bowl for now. I'm just going to get one of the standard onions. And here is one of those onions. It's kind of medium onion. So we're going to chop that in half, like that. There you go. Peel off the layers. Alright, almost there. Almost there. This one's a little bit more effort than some of the soups I've done, especially ones in the soup maker, but it tastes really nice. This is my favourite one so far that I've done. This is why we're doing it again. Failed to do that one. There you go. There you go, that should be alright. Alright. And then rotate that one and then chop again. And just separate that out. There you go, that should be alright. Okay, so where's that going in? I'm going to put that in with our onions and celery. Actually, what I've just realised is that no, it should be fine. The spring onion can go in later than the normal onions if you want, but it should be fine just going in like that. Maybe. Oh no, I'm not confident. Okay, I'm going to separate that out. Mistakes were made! Whoopsie daisies. Mistakes have been made. Okay, don't put the celery in with the spring onion because you need to cook at different times. Big mistakes were made. Oh god, now you're going to see me sort through different vegetables. Whoops. Oh, my bowl system has failed me. Oh no! Well, I suppose as long as we get it mostly there, it should be alright. Oh, I've completely paused this up. Whoops. But you get the raw footage, all the mistakes are on camera. Everything that goes wrong. What's the point? Then I can learn, and you can learn. It should make us better cooks. Should is the emphasis there. Because I'm having to learn. Alright, so that's most of it. There's still bits in there, but... Alright, so, celery and normal onions, spring onions in that one, more or less. Okay, so we've got those. What else do we need? I think that should be about it. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to move over to the saucepan area. Oh, you see I've got a nice twizzly thing now, that's new. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the light on, which it already is, and then we're going to get a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to put that on the saucepan. That's probably a little bit much, but hey ho. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our celery and our onions. I'm going to first heat that up, and I'm going to get my spoon, which is here. Get that ready. Alright. And I'm just going to check my recipe. So we're heating the oil, and then we get ready to add the celery and onions. We're also going to use half a teaspoon of dried thyme to add some flavour. Did I put that on the camera? There you go. What I'm also going to do, as it is corn chowder, so I'm also going to weigh out our frozen sweet corn. We need 175 grams of this. Ooh, that was very close. That was more. There you go. 180, but it'll be fine. And then we also... yeah, that's it. Okay. I think. Alright, so we're just waiting for this oil to get a little bit hotter. And then we should be cooking, literally. Okay, so... that's going to be fine. We're going to put our celery and onions in. Ooh, nice and sizzling. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit of thyme. Like that. I'm going to pat the bottom. That should be alright. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more than that actually. This kind of adds to the flavour quite a lot, so as much as you like. Yeah. Alright, so that's going. We're going to stir this until the onion starts to brown, which shouldn't be too long. That's sizzling away, and then we're going to get our oats ready, which is something that we're adding. In order to thicken the soup, we're going to get a handful of oats. So we're just going to put these in straight from the thing. Alright. We're also going to get our milk ready after we stir this around a bit more. It's getting quite noisy now, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. So we're going to get our milk ready, and in this recipe we will be using 850 millilitres, which is more than I could fit in this thing, so that's half of it, and then we're going to fill the other half up a little bit, so it's 850 millilitres of milk. Our vegetables are going well. It's getting close to browning. I'm going to turn that down more. Alright, so they're beginning to brown, so we're going to add oats and stir for an extra minute. So just about a handful of oats like that. And then I'm going to fix the camera. Like that. And we're going to put them in. Wow! I put them in the thing. Woo! And then we're going to stir that around for a little bit. Let that cook for a further minute. Alright, that's burning quite a lot, so we're going to continue on quickly, and we're going to pour in our milk and add the potatoes. So, 850 milliliters, so that's half the milk. We'll pour the other 450 milliliters in. Not 450, 350. There you go. And that's going in as well. We've got to be very careful now, because if we leave it for too long, the milk's going to burn. We're just going to chuck in our potato, like that. Woo! Okay, so that's going well, and we're going to bring it to the boil while we are stirring continuously. Yes. Alright. So after it's been brought to the boil, we're going to wait for about 10 minutes on a slightly lower heat until the potatoes become nice and soft and cooked thoroughly. And then we're going to add our sweet corn, spring onions, and you can actually add the leaves to the celery stalks if you want to, but mine didn't actually have any on, so never mind. Alright, I'm also going to do is I'm going to find the pieces of celery that I missed. I'm going to pop them in, because of my terrible mistake earlier. It's better now than them going in raw. So, there you go. Oh, I've missed almost all of them. Oh dear. Jim's raw celery cooking, because he forgot to put them in. That's almost all of them now. Shloik. And that's it. There you go. Cool. So we definitely should have had that in earlier, but hey ho. It's going to continue to cook. We're actually going to turn the heat up so it will actually come to the boil now. So we're going to stir continuously because we definitely don't want the milk to burn or curdle. So I suppose if you want to do a low-fat version of this corn chowder, then you can probably put like skimmed milk instead of semi-skimmed. That'll probably help. But yes. Woo! Alright. So it's going well. If it ever comes to the boil. So this should be a nice kind of creamy soup. It should taste good. What you can also do is, if you don't have potato in, but for some reason you have sweet potatoes, they'll work fine. I've done that before. And it makes it slightly more colourful as well, if you like. If you're in for the colour. But yes. If it ever comes to the boil, that'll be nice. Please. Please boil. Please. Is that heat? Yeah. There you go, it's getting there now. You can see it starting to bubble now. Woo! Corn chowder. Okay, so that's getting there. And then I'll probably cook for 10 minutes while it cooks. You still got to stir it though, because the milk's going to burn. So this is quite a high maintenance one, this one. Well, there you go, that's definitely starting to go, and you want to turn it down immediately as soon as you see that, because otherwise the milk's going to froth up and go everywhere. So what we're going to do now, nice kind of steamed milk, coffee material. So we're going to turn that right down until that goes down. We don't want the foam in there. So I've overdone it a little bit there, but basically we want it to sit there and almost bubble for about 10 minutes. I will see you after the 10 minutes. Bye! Oops, sorry. Alright, and it's coming up to 10 minutes. So, we've checked the potato, well, I've checked that the potato is cooked, which you should do, and it is. It's soft enough to eat and stuff. So that's good, it's cooked. So what we're going to do now is add the finishing ingredients. So we've got our spring onions, it's going to go in like that. Adds a nice green to our soup. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add our frozen sweet corn. And that brings the yellow to our soup. Wow! All the colours. Green, yellow and white. And we're going to stir that around a little bit before allowing it to, well, what we're going to do, sorry, not allow it to, we're going to bring it to the boil. And it should be nice. Bring it to the boil and leave it there for a minute. Well, almost to the boil. You don't want to boil your milk. Alright. And then we're done. Almost there. Yes, and what we can do as well at this point is we can get parsley, some fresh parsley, and we can chuck that in as well. So you can see from my nice kind of, what's it? So we want a little bit less than a handful, and we can tear that up in our hand like that into little bits, and then chuck that in as well. And then stir that in. We're not blending this one either, we want to keep it whole, which is good. Less effort, less cleaning. So if you do this properly, you can probably just wash the pan and the spoon, maybe the measuring jug. You could probably avoid messing with loads of bowls like me. Alright, so that's almost at the boil now. So we want to kind of ease it down a bit and then just leave it there for an extra minute. And then we should be done and we can taste it. I'm excited. Word of warning though for this soup. One, you don't want your milk to over froth, and other than that, if you eat this soup, be prepared to be able to have a nap. So it's not the best one for at work, because you will be very sleepy afterwards. This is a very comforting sleepy soup, which is very nice. So weekend soup is the recommendation, but caffeine and work is alright, as long as you have caffeine. If you don't have caffeine, you're going to struggle. Alright, so one little blast of heat and then we should be done. And we're done. Alright, so we're just going to let that cool down for a minute, and then we're going to dish it out into my containers. Ooh, like that. Okay, so that's almost done. Alright, so I'm going to use the ladle. There you go. I'm going to put the spoon out of the way. I'm going to see if we can get a good mix of these ingredients into the containers. Ooh, it smells lovely. Nice and creamy. Careful, because this will keep hot for ages. Alright, so we're just going to do that, and then I'm going to do my little tasty bowl. I'll do the container after I've done the video. I don't need that much for my taste. About that much, maybe a little bit more milk. Alright. More milk in that. Come on. Oh, that's going to be a nice little taster, that is. My little tasty spoon. It is very hot, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do the other container while I wait for that to cool down a little bit, because I'm going to burn my tongue, definitely. Alright, so let's try and do that, shall we? There you go, and that's all out. Alright, so back to the taster. So you definitely want to make this, let this cool down for a minute, otherwise you're definitely going to burn yourself, which I'm going to do. Ooh, dare I do it? Let's go for it. Mmm. That's very nice. And I want to go to sleep already. Oh, delicious. That's going to keep me going. Alright, so this has been the 12th episode of Jim's Raw Cooking. And we made corn chowder. Which is that? Woo. So, if you have any other suggestions for things I should make, please let me know. Bye!